Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and all of you today as your master of ceremony. Allow me to begin by extending our warmest greetings to our distinguished speaker from Australia, Mr. Michael Gatlick, as a co-founder and CEO of Charlie Zeta, and Mr. George and Mr. Shang Yu, the head of research and development at Trellis Data. Also welcoming also rest of the team at Trellis Data. We also deeply honored by the presence of the Majelis Pendidikan Tinggi kami MPTK, and our sincere welcome as well to honorable executives of Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia, Profesor Dr. Laode Masihu Kamaluddin, Master of Science, Master of Engineering as a Rector of UISI. Mr. Dr. Woni Ahmad Ridwan, Vice Rector for Education, Student Affairs, and Learning Support. Mrs. Lali Pritasari Subekti, SPMA, as a Vice Rector for Administration, Finance, Human Resource, and Collaborations. Mr. Jaswar Koto Siansimare, as a Vice Rector for Research, Development, and Digital Investment. We also extend our appreciation to the Civitas Academica UISI, to all participants of today's webinar, both on-site and online. To officially commence our program, I kindly invite everyone to stand up for the Indonesian's national anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by the March.
bangkit dan jaya, membina insan akademis dan pencipta untuk Indonesia. Dengan nafas Islam dan Indonesia, uji maju bersama, kreatif juga inovatif, Digital University membara semangat untuk Indonesia. Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia majulah, alamat kita, bakti kita, tetap kita jaga. Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia majulah, yakin usaha harapan untuk masa depan, uji bangkit dan jaya, membina insan akademis dan pencipta untuk Indonesia. Dengan nafas Islam dan Indonesia, uji maju bersama, kreatif juga inovatif, Digital University membara semangat untuk Indonesia. Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia majulah, alamat kita, bakti kita, tetap kita jaga. Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia majulah, yakin usaha
Please have a seat. We will now continue with OEC company profiles.
Along with the advancement of technology in the overall global community, digitalization must no longer be considered as an option, but a necessity. Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia, or UICI, was born as the first digital campus in Indonesia, which offers a system that is accessible for everyone. Accessible for everyone means that there is absolutely no limitation to receiving education. Anyone can go to college from anywhere, in any time, with no regard for space, distance, time, or even citizenship. With this educational concept, UICI has become the first campus to implement the use of artificial intelligence for education in Indonesia, and the fifth in the world. Artificial Intelligence Digital Simulator Teaching Learning System, or AIDFTLS, developed by UICI, is proven effective to become a flexible learning platform. This is not a web-based system. AIDFTLS can be accessed with or without any internet connection, with or without any synchronization with lecturers. Students also allowed to complete their course sooner, depending on their own independence, perseverance, and seriousness in understanding the prepared materials and assignments. As a campus founded by the Alumni Corps of the Muslim Students Association, or KAHMI, which certainly has a strong network.
Saya menyambut baik inisiatif KAHMI untuk mendirikan Universitas Insan Cipta Indonesia, UICI, lembaga pendidikan yang dirancang berbasis digital dengan program studi yang inovatif, seperti program studi sains data, bisnis digital. Ini akan memperkaya inovasi pendidikan tinggi kita. Inovasi-inovasi seperti ini yang harus banyak dilakukan agar kita mampu memenangkan kompetisi global yang semakin ketat dan semakin sengit.
Supported by the Indonesian government and more than 3,000 professors and academics from KAHMI. Just in the third year, UJ has been able to reach more than 1,500 students spread over 450 cities and districts throughout Indonesia and in several other countries, such as Taiwan, Germany, Saudi Arabia, the UK, and many more. UJ's commitment to providing education for everyone is also complemented by various language options in AIDSTLS. The multi-language service allows AIDSTLS to be used by anyone all over the world, including countries that are members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or OIC. And as an Islamic-based university, which is relevant in responding to the challenges of the time, where technology must be used as much as possible for the benefit of everyone. So what will be continued to be developed in the future? In a technological innovation, the endless support for digital advancement and R&D are important. OIC will continue to grow and become a pioneer in digital-based higher education with an Islamic spirit. For that purpose, let us be united in building a digital civilization through higher education. Together with Universitas Insan Cita, Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to one of the most significant moments of today's event, the Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony with Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia, Trellis Data, and Fishbrick and co-adversary. This MOU symbolized a shared commitment to advancing research, education, and innovations in the field of artificial intelligence, building stronger collaborations between Indonesia and Australia. To Professor Lode and Mr. Gedley. The signing of this MOU marks the beginning of meaningful collaboration we see Trellis Data, Flitsbricks, and co-adversary, bringing together shared vision for innovations, AI development, and global education. Once again, congratulations to UIC and Trellis Data, and we will have a photo session to commemorate this moment. Thank you so much. Please have a seat. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, next it's an honor to invite Director of UIC to deliver his opening remarks. Please, Prof. Ode, come forward to you on the stage.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and good morning to everybody. This is an honor for me as the president of the Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia to welcome all of you, especially in this morning we have a really guest speaker, two guest speaker. One is, of course, exists in this room, but the other one is online. For this important, I will, say hello to Michael Gatterley, co-founder and CEO of Trill Data Australia. Good morning, my friend. Second, Cheng Yu, the head of R&D of the Trellis Data, and also my long-term friend, Josh Marantika, who always with me and how to go wandering in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, also with us now is the Ibu Rektor, Wakil Rektor 2 Bidang Administration and Finansial, Ibu Leli Politasari Subekti. Also Wakil Rektor 1 Bidang Pendidikan Kemahasiswaan, Layanan Bantuan Belajar, Dr. Woni Ahmad Ridwan. Of course, he is not here, but he is there. And Wakil Rektor 3 Bidang Riset and Development, R&D, Dr. Eng Jaswar Koto. Hendy, also you are here. Thank you for coming from Jogja. All participants, in this morning, it's an honor for me as the president of the university, have the opportunity to conduct the international webinar, Empowering Next Generation AI Skill Development for Indonesia, Australia, and the world. Let me tell you a little bit of background. 5 years ago, when we are talking about artificial intelligence for the education, nobody understands. And we introduced the platform for education, so-called Artificial Intelligence Digital Simulator Teaching Learning System. The people get confused. The first they don't understand, then they confuse. But during the period, suddenly COVID-19 come in, hit globally. The whole society globally stuck. No one can move. Then is the timing, and the time Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia operate from nothing to something. And then we approached the President of Indonesia that the way to doing business for education must be changed. And then he listened carefully. And then he said, okay, go do it. This is the reason why this university exists. So for that kind of thing, thank you for the President of Indonesia, Jokowi, who has the courage to make the kind of breakthrough for mindset of the Indonesia. Then UIC or they exist now. That's what we are here. So I will proud that Michael Gateway, co-founder or CEO, Talent Data Australia, and also later on Cheng Yu, head of research and development for Trellis Data Australia, will help us to understand what is all artificial intelligence all about. But still in Indonesia, they are mixing of the understanding. They are hope for the new generation, but the old generation afraid. But today, hopefully, Michael, you can help us and all participants, or later on, to a little bit explain that artificial intelligence is not only the tool, but this is the revolution of mindset, how to solve the problem, not just a tool itself. So to start with this point, I guess I want to end my remark today. Then I hopefully the seminar today will be successful and all the participants can enjoy the presentation for two, the outstanding guests from Australia. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Please give warm applause to our rector. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to invite Mr. George Iwan Marantika as the National President of Indonesia Australia Business Councils to deliver his opening remarks. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Prof. Laude as the rector of the university, Ibu Wakil Rector, and also my good friend Michael and Randy are here, and the audience that are coming online. Also, we have Ibu Tisa Bugiakso from the General Sudirman Center joining us online also from the family of General Sudirman themselves. And I'm the immediate past president of the Indonesia-Australia Business Council, but I am currently the chairman of Australia Bilateral Committee in the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or KADIN Indonesia. And we are very honored to be part of this process. My good friend Michael, who just signed an MOU with Prof. Laude and Uichi, and also forwarded will be Mr. Eamon Fitzpatrick, who is currently in Sydney, but will be joining online very soon. Will be forwarded his signature for Fitzpatrick and co-advisory, but also he is a good friend of Prof. Laude, also the rector of Uichi. But we're honored to be here because this is significant. Obviously, as we observed, Uichi is a digital AI-driven university. And Trellis Data, which is based in Canberra, Australia, is one of Australia's leading AI companies. In Australia, it is registered as a critical technology company in the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Australia. So it is one of the few companies in Australia that is registered as a critical technology company. And Australia, through Trellis Data, is leading the way in AI innovation and development. In this context, Indonesia and Australia, in its future agreements, which will be the IACPA version 2, or the Indonesia-Australia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, the second version, or the advanced version, will deepen the economic relationship between Indonesia and Australia in one of 5 areas. One of them is critical technologies. So the MOU just signed today by Prof. Laude as the rector of Uichi, and Mr. Michael Gately as the president and founder of Trellis Data, is part of a significant initiative in the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Australia from the context of critical technologies. And so with that, I think this is of significant importance, this collaboration. And Mr. Michael Gately will share with you during his presentation what his ideas are in related to the MOU with Uichi, and also related to the engagement with Indonesia. So with that, on behalf of the Australia Bilateral Committee of the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or KADIN Indonesia, I would again like to congratulate Uichi, Prof. Laude, and Trellis Data, Mr. Michael Gately, and my good friend Eamon Fitzpatrick from Sydney, Fitzpatrick and co-advisory for this collaboration. So thank you very much. I give the floor back to the MC.
Thank you so much. Give applause to Mr. Joris. We will now move on to our first keynote session. It is a great pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Gately as a co-founder and CEO of Trellis Data Australia. Mr. Gedley is a seasoned technology entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience in the global technology and government sectors. Under his leadership, Trellis Data has become a pioneer in sovereign artificial intelligence solutions, empowering organizations to harness AI while maintaining full data ownership. One of his key innovations, dynamic depth decoding, enhanced AI efficiency while reducing environmental impact. To Mr. Michael Gatley, this is yours. Give a pose to.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for hosting me, Professor Laudy, at Uichi. This is an excellent initiative by the president, but it's made real by you. So I think that you and the team, the leadership team, should be very proud of what you've achieved. It is indeed a great personal experience to go to a digital university, being the head of an AI company. This is a very different experience to then going to a normal university, and I love it. I think it's great. So thank you. Pat George, very great to see you, my dear friend, and thank you. This wouldn't have happened without your support, so thank you very much. And of course, Eamon Fitzpatrick, who's also a good friend of mine and couldn't be here today, but he'll be part of the MOU. The MOU is effectively a way for us to engage and help progress artificial intelligence at the advanced and sophisticated end of AI. And I'm very excited about what this could mean for us together, both the students and Trellis Data in this country. I'll just give you a bit of background about myself first. So I'm a long-term techo. So that means I love computers. I was programming them as a child, playing Commodore 64 games, if anyone ever remembers that, right through my childhood into university. I'm a Canberra boy. I'm from a large family, and when I went and did university, technically, I got involved straight away into programming development. I put myself through university, getting people onto e-commerce websites when HTML was a very new thing at the end of the last century. So I've actually been in technology for almost 30 years, actually, now that I think about it. When I went through to the federal government in Australia, I did some work there as a technology leader there. And AI was becoming this thing. And it wasn't called AI back then, it was called ML, machine learning. And it was about algorithms. And everyone in the Australian government was kind of scared of these algorithms. They didn't know what the algorithms would do. And everyone's watched Terminator movies and other things, and they see all bad things. But I found that the algorithms were able to look at data faster than we could, and they could make decisions that were quite powerful and valuable and could help humanity. At home, I was working on a remote control car to drive itself around my house, and I looked at the data, the sensors, and the algorithms. And I found the thing missing was the algorithms weren't very sophisticated. So I'm just going to talk very briefly about what I think of AI. I think AI is a big term. It means many things. We are in the digital era, as Professor Laudy and I were talking about just before. And we are in the AI era. But AI is also a thing. It also is a product. But it means many things to many people. So for me, a way to think about AI is this. Anything that has automation in it is broadly in this big circle of AI. And that can include rules engines, so what we call deterministic answers from computers. But that's too broad. When we talk into our phones, that's a different form of AI. And it's an advanced form of AI called machine learning. Now, beyond that, machine learning itself can be what we call linear algorithms, linear algebra, the basic foundation of AI as it currently was. But that can't detect people's faces. That can't translate languages. That can't allow us to connect our cities in new ways to make them more efficient and more safe. So there's another form of AI called deep learning. I call it advanced machine learning. And this is the area that Trellis Data specializes in. It's what we spend our time doing. For me, this allows us to help keep people safe. It helps us to do simple things like help us to talk to each other in our own languages and hear each other in our own language, even if we don't speak. I don't speak Javanese, and it would be great to be able to speak and learn Javanese. And so there's a lot of things that AI can help with in humanity. I also think that this country is a young, ambitious, and intelligent country, and it has the ability to change the country. And Professor Laudy and I were talking about the next generation are going to be bringing in Society 5.0. And for me, this is a bold vision and a real one. And it's not something that either the professor or I will bring into being ourselves. It is what you will bring as students of this university. So this is an area of keen interest for me about how do we work together. I will give you guys over to Cheng shortly. I'll pass back to the MC shortly. But Cheng Yu, to give you a sense of him, he was my first employee. I've seen Cheng get married, have children. It's been a great blessing in my life having him as part of it. And his intelligence around AI is extraordinary. He is one of the most capable at talking about AI, but also can talk through the mathematical models. So if we get to any questions at the end, I'm very happy for you to throw the hardest mathematical questions you can at Cheng and see how he goes. So I think that's probably about it for me. I'll pass over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Please give applause to our speakers, the first keynote sessions. Next, moving on to the next sessions, we have the second speaker here that's already joined online. Hello, Mr. Sheng Yu. Yes.
Hello, it's great to be here.
China as well. Okay. It is our pleasure to welcome Mr. Sheng Yu, the Head of Research and Development at Trellis Data. Mr. Sheng Yu leads R&D team at Trellis Data in Canberra. He holds a master's degree in artificial intelligence from the Australian National University and had a bachelor degree in economics of University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. With a strong combination of technical expertise and analytical skill, he has led the development of innovative deep learning solutions for governments and also industry partners. The Mr. Sheng Yu, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. Distinguished leaders, faculty, staff, students, and guests, thank you for having me here. It is a great honor to be with you today as we sign this important memorandum of understanding. So I'm joining you here from Canberra, and Canberra is also known as Australia's bush capital. So in Canberra, 17 of our local public schools offer Indonesian classes, although I myself personally never had a chance to learn this beautiful language. I am one of the 5.5 million Australians with Asian heritage. We're not a distant Western nation. We're your neighbors. In fact, it's quicker to fly from our city of Darwin to Jakarta than from Darwin to here in Canberra. But our connection is much older than airplanes. For hundreds of years, the Macassan traders from your islands sailed to our northern shores. They built deep partnerships with our First Nations people. We're not new partners. We're old friends, rekindling a 300-year-old relationship in a new age. I'm a great admirer of your national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. We both share this beautiful, complex, and urgent challenge. You have over 700 languages, and we have a few hundreds. In Australia, our history is sometimes painful. Our First Nations languages were not lost. They were silenced. For many years, we only talked about preservation. Preservation is for museums. It's not for people. Today, I'm here to talk about revival. Revival is not about the past. It's about our future. But revival is not a government policy. It starts as a spark. It starts with people. I want to tell you about two of these sparks in Australia. The first is Michaela Helms. She's a proud Nyampa woman. As a girl, she remembers traveling with her family for thousands of kilometers to the remote region to listen to her great-grandmother, Auntie Barrow, tell the dreaming stories. That's part of our First Nation tradition. When her great-grandmother passed, she left behind a treasure trove, old recordings, books, and poems. Michaela, who is now a health science student at Australia National University, is using that treasure to build an online dictionary for a language with no fluent speakers left. She told me during the coffee catch-up, "It is very special. I feel like I'm keeping her alive." One young woman, one family's memory is bringing a language back to life. The second spark is Jazz Fuzzy, and Jazz is only 13 years old. In her town, she goes to school just like everyone else, but after her school, she becomes the teacher. And who are her students? They are the adults who are normally her teachers. The 13-year-old is teaching her own teachers their ancestral language. This is the power of the human spirit. The students are becoming the teachers. Now I want you to imagine this in your country. Imagine 1,000 Michaelas, imagine 10,000 Jazz in every island, carrying the same spark, bringing their heritage to the future. Imagine what you can do with that energy. But in 2025, that spark is not enough, because we are now in a new global race, the AI race. And this race presents a new silent danger. So we have a few giant global technology companies from different countries. They do not see the value in our diversity. They're building AI for English of a particular accent, for Mandarin Chinese, and a handful of Western European languages. What about the 250 indigenous languages of Australia? What about the 700 languages of Indonesia? Languages that are not represented in AI, they will be left behind. And this is a new type of threat. It's called AI colonization. And this threat is not just for your regional languages. It's for all of us. Even our dominant Australian English is under threat. The existing AI products reduce our identity to stereotypes. If you ever try to ask an existing global AI product to talk in Australian English, they think we all sound like Crocodile Dundee. If our main language is being colonized, what chance do we have with the 700 languages? This is a fight for our languages, our cultures, and essentially for who we are and who we can become. But this is not our destiny. We have a choice. And this is also a massive economic opportunity. We're pioneering new methods to revive languages with extremely limited data. We're turning this cultural challenge into a powerful new industry. And this is not a charity. This is a quiet but powerful economic revolution. So please look at these slides. At Trellis Data, we study the economic impact of reviving just 100 of Australia's Indigenous languages. The result? It creates a new $17.5 billion industry. It creates over 116,000 new jobs. And look where these jobs are. They are not for AI engineers or scientists like me. The majority are language teachers, content creators, tourism operators, researchers, and innovators. This is an investment that creates dignity, purpose, and prosperity in the regions. For decades, the world has seen diversity as a technical inconvenience. We see this as a dormant asset that's waiting to be tapped. And some global companies see the vast majority of languages as a technical challenge because of lack of data. We see it as a massive competitive advantage. You are not underserved. You are underestimated. Think about the formula. 100 Australian languages translate into a $17.5 billion industry. And Indonesia has 7 times the number of that languages and 10 times the number of people. This is your opportunity to build a multi-billion-dollar industry that's uniquely yours. And this is how Indonesia can become a global cultural powerhouse. And this is the legacy we can leave behind for our future generations. This is not a 10-year academic dream. The AI race is happening now. We are building this sovereign AI capability here in Australia to secure our culture. We believe Indonesia and Australia can both have our cultures defended in this new industrial revolution. And this is our vision. And that's why CEO Michael and co-founder of Trellis Data, who's with you in this room, has that plan. And to be part of this, to gain this critical AI knowledge and build this sovereign future, I encourage you to join us and send an email to the address that we are providing here. Let's build this future together. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheng Yu, for the amazing presentation from Canberra, yeah, Mr. Sheng?
Yeah.
That was Right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sheng Yu, once again. And ladies and gentlemen, we will now open an opportunity for a short Q&A session to Mr. Gatli and also Mr. Sheng Yu. Is there any question maybe from the chat box? Or perhaps you might try and raise your hand if there's any questions about empowering artificial intelligence. And I believe Mr. Sheng has provided a lot of information about artificial intelligence. Or here in outside, guys, is there any questions? or perhaps from our Civitas Academica, our university's lectures, or perhaps the staff here. Baik Bapak Ibu, apakah ada pertanyaan dipersilakan dapat untuk bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia ataupun bahasa Inggris. Nanti akan kami bantu tentunya. Bapak Ibu dipersilakan untuk raise hand ataupun meninggalkan pertanyaan di kolom chat. Dari teman-teman mahasiswa WICI mungkin ada yang sudah kepo banget nih tentang artificial intelligence, ini langsung dari pakarnya Canberra. Okay, we have Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Zainal. Mr. Zainal.
Hello there.
Dipersilakan.
Hello.
Ya, dipersilakan. Pak Zainal
It was a
boleh.
great. First of all, it was a
Could you
great
please turn on the
presentation.
camera, sir?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, so I'm currently a Makassar. My name is Muhammad Ibrahim Zainal. So you were mentioning about our share of history in the past. So I was quite intrigued by your statement. We share the same culture. We have that connection. So I'm currently in Makassar now. So we moved 2 years ago. I grew up in Jakarta, and then I go back to Makassar to start our journey to democratize higher education in Makassar. So it's like a great moment to be here in front of our seniors from Kahmi as well, and the Civitas Academica of USC. So my question is, how to create a great ecosystem of AI in the amount of big shortage education in Makassar. So we're lacking of that great potential from Makassar. So kita masih kekurangan banyak. We are still lacking of many access to higher education in Makassar. How does AI can solve this with your program, with your system, regarding making it we can democratize the higher education in Makassar? So I think that's all my question. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great point, and I'm sure Michael, you have some thoughts about this as well. So from my experience of working on the Australian languages, and quite often, and people see that most of the best higher education resources these days are concentrated in a few dominant languages globally. Let's say there are great AI and higher education content in general in English and in Mandarin Chinese. And given that over 90% of the people speak a language other than the Western European languages or English, and there is a huge opportunity for a lot of the higher education content to translate it into high quality for these languages. Now, the challenge for that is this kind of translation technology currently does not exist. And the reason for that is since the industrial revolution and that bring in the internet revolution with the social media revolution, and the majority of the languages are being left behind. And that is now getting exacerbated by the AI. So it's creating a loop that the languages that has been underrepresented, which in both Indonesia and Australia, majority of our languages are being underrepresented. And that means the AI is not able to create enough content in those languages, which further leads to the marginalization of that. And to stop that vicious cycle, there's an opportunity for us to perform that intervention, and that starts with having the people. Let's say you have the people who specialize in the language, linguists, and volunteers and staff that helps with annotating the language, and you have the machine learning scientists that you already have here in Indonesia, and of course we can help to train more people in that aspect. And when people from different disciplines work together, and then we can build up the translation and transcription technology for these languages. So that means the education content can be accurately translated into those languages to be more accessible, and that can be an important step to reduce that education access inequality. Did that answer your question?
Mr. Zainal?
Yes, thank you for the answer. I would like to elaborate more, maybe a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so there is specific culture in Makassar. It's called Segeri. It's 75 kilometers away from Makassar. They have this culture called Magiri. Yeah, and they have their own special language, they offers different gender as well there. They're accepting the different gender and different specific language. So is it possible to create a continuous projection for them so they can enrich their culture through AI?
Yeah, and Michael, I see that you're nodding your head. Do you want to say something?
Yes, thanks, Cheng. Yeah, I was nodding my head. Yeah, so the short answer is, Mohammed, is yes. Training a language, is it the Malgari language, is not just feasible, but could be started next week. There are ways to make these things move quickly. As Cheng said, the sort of that AI is now, but so is the ability for us to do what Cheng is talking about. That AI is also here now, and we have tools and processes that can help. The professor and I were talking about connection. Indonesia is a place of 17,000 or so islands. That's a lot. And not everyone has access to the same digital communication network as we enjoy here in Jakarta. So there are some other issues. And we have had a lot of experience of what we call disconnected AI. So AI that is not connected to the network. So there are ways to solve this. And we were talking about some other things around data centers on that front. So, Professor, maybe you want to talk about that. But this is where I think the relationship between deep tech AI that we do and educational expertise that the professor and others have here, the combination of that can deliver those sort of education outcomes in the languages that people want to learn in their own language, yes.
Okay. Give applause to Mr. Deadly and Mr. Sheng Yu. Mr. Zainal, I hope it's answered the questions. Okay. Go on, Mr. Zainal. Sure.
Thank you. That's enough.
Okay, Mr. Sheng Yu, we have a question from Mr. Joris. Go on, Mr. Joris.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Cheng Yu, thank you for your presentation. It's very, very insightful. And also thank you, Michael, for your remarks, opening remarks. I think it envisioned what the idea between Indonesia and Australia can collaborate on, especially in youth development in a critical technology such as artificial intelligence. Now, you mentioned one term that maybe if you could elaborate what you meant by that, and because I found it very interesting, and that's AI colonization. Kolonisasi AI, itu menarik sekali. That is very interesting statement that you made, and that you said that what Indonesia and Australia can do is basically counter that, through languages developed in our own local languages to be learned by the machine, through AI. But what do you mean by that, and what do you see from that? And maybe Michael, if you want to make some comments on that also. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. George, for the questions. Maybe we'd like to start with Mr. Sheng Yu first. So what is about the AI colonization? Would you like to elaborate more about the terms? The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you for the great question. So AI colonization, and so what that means is, if we look at globally the commercial landscape of AI, and we will have some of the global tech company for every $1 of revenue, they are spending $3. So they are running at a massive loss to get the market share. And I'm more concerned about the cultural aspect. So when people start to use a unified model, and so what happened is it's suggesting in a language pattern that reflects that particular cultural data that it's trained on. And so when I use these global tools for research purpose, and I find that whenever I ask these models just to answer the question in appropriate Australian English, instead it's trying to imitate Crocodile Dundee. And so that's not how average Australian talks in the day-to-day life anymore. And so that is ringing an alarm bell because of lack of. So most of these models are trained in the headquarters. They're trained in Shenzhen, Beijing, or trained in Silicon Valley in California. So they have very good technology, but the problem with that is that research team who train those models don't really have the cultural connection and experience with, let's say, Australian English, and let alone with the other Australian indigenous language or the 700 languages that Indonesia is using. And so by colonization, what that means is that people are using the tools that is based on a different cultural and linguistic context, and they don't have much choice but have to use them. And I see that with our Australian government, so our Australian federal public servants, and they are actively using these tools. And what happened is the report that just generated start to resemble the reports that comes from another country. And that is not very helpful to preserve our diversity and cultural identity. And these are very important, not just from the cultural value, but also these are the unique advantage that we have that can leverage tourism, leverage local innovation and local education. So
Mr. Kelly?
that's why I'm concerned about AI colonization.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheng Yu, for the amazing explanation. Mr. Gedley, would you like to add the explanation?
Yeah, probably the easiest way to describe this. I mean, I talk about cultural erosion, but I think AI colonization is much more stark a picture. But I think this is interesting, and I've spent some time here talking to some great people over my last few trips. And my view on Indonesia 10 years ago, 5 years ago, before my first trip, which was about 4 years ago, is different to my understanding of Indonesia now that I'm here. So now let's think about that. If you're creating AI and you're not in Indonesia, then your version of what you think Indonesia is different to what Indonesia is. And I think that's the real risk. And they talk about homogenization. They talk about bringing everything together into a uniform pattern. And they say you can personalize AI, but you're personalizing AI from an external person's perspective. So even though you're trying to say this is who we are as Indonesians, it's constantly trying to tell you what US is, or what France is, or what China is. So it's constantly pulling you away from the subtlety that makes us who we are, whether we're Australian, Indonesian. So it's the difference of external people creating AI, which is when Chang and I talked through this in some detail many months ago now. We can only build Indonesian AI from Indonesia. We cannot build it from Australia. We can bring the knowledge capital, but we can't build it. And that's the difference, right? That's sort of to the point made earlier. Yeah.
Yes, go on, Mr. George.
So thank you, Michael and Mr. Cheng Yu. So I think if I use, and I think this is all public application, so it's okay to comment on it, yeah. So if I use the Meta AI on WhatsApp, yeah, and I ask a question in Javanese, what will come out is we don't speak Javanese. That's what it says. it'll come out. So, and Javanese is in the Indonesian context, it's the largest population base in Indonesia. So if of 300 million people, I would say what 60%, 65%, 40%. Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Between 40 to 60. Let's just use the number 60. Yeah. So 60. That means it's we're looking at 120 million people. Yeah. Or at least 150 to between 120 to 180 million people understand that dialect. Yeah. Between if you took that range. And so that's a significant chunk of Southeast Asia. Because Southeast Asia alone is only about 550, 600 million people. That's so that's if not 1/3 of Southeast Asia is in that dialect. So I think what you're saying is very significant. And my question is, so what language is being used by the tech companies to train the bots in AI? What language is being used? So first of all, first of all, I mean, I like your ideas about language and cultural, defending the culture through language in AI, in the era of AI. But then, what is the language now being used to train the bots? So that's my question to Mr. Cheng Yu, and also Mr. Michael Gately. Thank you.
We would like to hear from Mr. Gately first.
So generally speaking, the language is English. And if it's not English, so and often it's American English. Now, there's some caveats here. So I'm talking about the US tech companies. So in each country, they would translate other languages to their language, right? So in the case of the US, they will translate it all to American English and use predominantly English sources. So you know the saying, lost in translation? Well, you get lost, you lose that at the data input level, and then you train on that loss of data subtlety, and then you get the output. Yeah, that's the homogenization process. Cheng, I don't know if you want to add to it, but yeah.
Mr. Cheng Yu, would you like to add the explanation from Mr. Gately?
Oh yeah, I just want to add to what you said. And what you said, Michael, is actually backed up. So our research team has looked into the paper that's published by the research team of the global tech companies. For example, the team behind the Mistral, which is based in France. And they explicitly said that they only choose the sources that's in Western European languages, that's such as English, German, and French, and then they throw away the rest of the data as if they are not important. And for Meta, and we also read the 3 versions of their paper because they had multiple iterations of their model. And they also made it clear that they only aim to support certain languages. And there's a disconnect here because we know that Southeast Asia, with over 600 million population, are heavy users of applications such as WhatsApp. And so there is already a lot of awareness and data being created in those languages, but the same technology that harvests those data are not giving back through a better support of these languages. And so there is a disconnect. So to Michael's point, I strongly agree with Michael's point that in order to support the languages in Indonesia, we need to have it built by Indonesians and in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Cheng Yu, for the answer. And Mr. George, is that enough? Does that answer your questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Gately, and also Mr. Cheng Yu for the explanation from the Mr. George's questions. Now we're gonna moving on. We have several questions that are already provided from the chat box. Would you mind to answer, sir? Okay. So we have Miss Zara here. Would you like to raise your hand and you might try to ask the question directly, Mr. Zara? Okay. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, here, the question is from Zara from Bogor. I would like to ask the questions about AI. Recently, there have been many fake videos and photos that created by AI, and it it is difficult for people who don't understand AI to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. My question is, how can we tell the difference between what is real and what is fake? And because the more advanced AI becomes and the more realistic the videos looks. Thank you. Maybe we'd like to hear from Mr. Sheng Yu.
Oh yeah, this is another issue that's related to the ethics and risk of using AI, especially most of the existing global AI applications are open to registration of people under 18, and so that's creating a real risk. And these days, I myself look at some of the video. I have exactly the same question as you. I wonder, is it real or not? Quite often, I would say, I don't know, because these days the models for generating these images are created without the consideration of the ethics. So there has been some solutions that's being proposed, so we can actually fight fake AI-generated image with AI. And for example, you have videos or images of someone that's simply not true, and you can train a model, and we're happy to share more about that in the future. But there has been quite a bit of research and proposed solutions to identify what's being doctored or generated or what's being real. And that identification is feasible through AI because most humans already are not able to identify that. And that technology, we're happy to discuss more about that technology. And I believe that's also something, given that Indonesia has over 280 million people, and it's something that we would love to see more Indonesians can take up that skill set to be able to train those models.
Thank you so much for the explanation. And Mr. Gatli, is it enough? Okay. And thank you so much, Mr. Gatli and Mr. Shang Yu. But maybe this is going to be the last questions. And from Mr. Wahyu. Okay, so would you like? Okay. The question is, what skills are most relevant for the future amidst the dominance of AI technology? Are they more technical, like coding, or more soft skills like the creativity or the empathy? And how can we ensure that the benefits of AI are not limited to a select few, but also empower the wider community? So maybe we'd like to start with Mr. Gatli first.
I'll start with that. Thank you, and Cheng, pass to you afterwards if you want to add more. I think, Cheng, that there was a slide that Cheng put up that showed the different types of roles that get created as a result of building languages. I think if you look at that, that's quite an important slide because it's providing, if you just go to that there, it's providing like tourism operators, right? So they're not AI, they're not deep tech AI, right? So language teachers, you're talking about education here, and so you have many different ways of looking at it. There is probably what isn't mentioned here but is important are things like ethics, lawyers, marketers, who can help people adopt Indonesian AI, so that and understand the legality of that, the law and legal framework behind that. So for me, what I'm looking for people that want to do data and want to do mathematical deep tech AI. And we have a variation of skills inside Trellis Data. Some of them will write very big mathematical models, but others will do what we call AI operations, just getting the models to work in a particular way. So there's a lot of jobs in the AI business, but in Indonesia we see AI as a net job creator. So we see it adding to jobs and creating a regional capability, actually. That's how I view it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gatli. And I would like to invite Mr. Sheng Yu. Would you like to add explanation for Mr. Gatli?
Yeah, so there's a lot of fear, and with that, there are lots of misinformation out there about the future of AI. And a common view is AI is going to replace people's jobs. But actually, the opposite is true, because people from tourism operator, researcher, innovator, people who use AI to analyze laws, and people use AI to market, to generate more engaging content on social media, traditional media, and people who use AI to improve their writing, whether it's for political discussion, legal discussion, and that there's so many different participants in AI system. Some people build AI, some people modify AI, some people safeguard against the risk of AI, some people analyze the ethics, some people analyze the governance or implements that, and some people will simply be the operation of the day-to-day operation of AI. So there's not a specific skill that is being needed. Of course, we highly value people who understand the deep mathematical background, as Michael mentioned, and we have some of that in our research team. But we also have people who have great critical thinking, who has ability to think and sift through information, and they are very highly efficient AI operators. And then we can see that there is a diversity of roles in the AI ecosystem, and we would love to share more of that knowledge with you, so we can see that more people in Indonesia can start building up their own AI ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheng Yu, for the additional information. Mr. Gadli and Mr. Sheng Yu, well, here I think the participant here been wondering what is empowering about AI. Would you like to, if there's any time to answer the question, maybe it's about 1 or 2 questions. Okay, so the next question here we have from Ms. Hani Habibah: how to anticipate data security and information bias if artificial intelligence is applied massively? That's the question. Go on, Mr. Gadli.
That is a great question. I think when you look at AI, when you look at the technical side of it, you actually want it to bias a particular way. So you need to understand the behavior of the model. And I think that's one of the challenges today, is that a lot of people are using AI and not understanding what the model is, how it behaves. It's what we call characteristics, which is driven by data, but we don't usually know what the data is that creates the models. So inside Indonesia, building models here and having people create the data allows us to have a much greater safety, what we call AI safety rating, and a much more ethical and transparent AI. So when you know the data, then you can confirm all decisions. You can enable accountability, traceability. So that's an important thing. I do think data security is a big problem, and it gets worse. Cloudflare went down from and planes couldn't fly. So just recently, hundreds of millions of records were held to ransom from Salesforce. So there is data integrity is really difficult. It's an ongoing battle. I think there is something about if you just turn off the internet and put the data in that box, you're fine. And so there are ways to do it. And our onshore intelligence agencies here, like they do in Australia, they've got methods for that. And some of that could be used for research purposes to help secure the data.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gadli. And we would like to invite Mr. Sheng Yu. Okay, the stage is yours.
I think these are some great points. And when it comes to actually looking at the safety of the data, so the data, the risk inside of the data will propagate into the risk of the model. So that means that in your model training process, there's always a need of having people in the loop. So regardless of what metrics that people are proposing, and that's not going to replace the fact that people need to work together and in both the building process or the operation process of the AI models in order to reach the best social impact.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheng Yu and Mr. Gadley. I hope Miss Habiba answered the question. And if you need further details, just contact Mr. Sheng Yu. Yeah, I think Mr. Sheng Yu already provided the emails, yeah, and the last slide. And Mr. Gadley and Mr. Sheng Yu, can we add one more question? I believe this is gonna be the last question. Okay. And the last question here from Chandra Lorenzia, considering the framework of agentic LLMs for low resource language learning, could such system enable self-improving translation loops that dynamically expand linguistic resources while maintaining the semantic and also the cultural integrity? Maybe we would like to start with Mr. Sheng Yu first.
Oh, yeah, so that's a excellent technical question. So that's the core of our method. So what in our presentation earlier, so I showed you the agentic loop that we use. And so think of it, it's like a smart learning engine. So it's not a one big model. So so we use two models working together. So there's a one lightweight model. So it acts like a fast researcher and a heavy large language model that acts like a expert professor. So this is inspired by the thinking fast and slow methods and the system one, system two thinking. So when you ask for a translation and the researcher model, so instantly queries the existing library. So these are the grammar books, the dictionaries, and these are prepared by the language speakers or sometimes expert linguists. And with the vocabulary list that you already have, and it tries to build up that translation by proposing the new vocabulary. So that's exactly how we can have that technology to bring some of these underrepresented languages into the modern world. And once we have those vocabularies, then we're able to use these languages for education to improve the access of people who speak those languages.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheng Yu. And okay. Thank you, everyone. I think that's gonna be the last question since we have limited time here. For several questions that haven't been answered, maybe you could try to contact Mr. Sheng Yu or maybe these teams by providing the emails. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to our speakers and participants that joining online and also offline for the engaging discussions. And we will now present plaque certifications. Here. The first one here, Mr. Michael Gadley. So the picture is taken directly, sir. It's a new picture from you today. And the second one also, it's appreciated to Mr. Chang Yu, who also joining us online. Thank you so much. We will send the certificate to your contact, Mr. Chang Yu. Thank you so much.
That's
Please
a very
give a
personal
warm
gift.
applause to our speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia, Trolis Dara, and so on, we extend our deepest appreciation to our keynote speakers and our distinguished guests, and to the Honorable Executive and Civitas Academica UIC, as well as participants that joining in online for being part of today's event. Before we close the event, let's capture this wonderful moment together from our on-site guests. Please come forward into the front of the stage. Oh, yeah. And also, I would like to remind to all the participants, please kindly turn on your cameras for the group discussions. Wait a second. We'll start. Okay. Would you like to give a space to Mr. Okay, it's clear enough. Okay, but 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Thank you to our participants. And also we have a black certificate for Mr. Gadley here. So we're gonna take a photo one more time. Yeah, thank you so much. Please have a seat, sir. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you for joining us. It has been an honor to host this event for you. Please stay inspired, stay innovative, and see you at our next webinar. Billahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.